Good morning, everybody. So my name is Nathalie, and I'm wearing a black and white dress, and my hair are braided. So it's really a pleasure to be here today with among colleagues, public, private sector partners, thought leadership, young people, young entrepreneurs, actresses, and people in the creative industry that were so inspiring this morning, really feeling energized for the conversation. So, as you know, and for those, and probably not many people know, that IFC is actually the private sector arm of the World Bank Group. So the World Bank, our sister company, I would say, sister organization, works with the public sector, while we work with the private sector to ensure that they apply a diversity and inclusion lens through their activity. So today we work and we finance close to over 2,000 companies around the emerging markets, and we help them to, as I mentioned, apply gender and disability consideration in the portfolio. So I think it's very easy, and we've seen a number of examples today, but it's very easy to talk about access and the thematic of access. But I think it really becomes a reality when you bring it to individual story. And I would like to share with you one story of Regina. Regina, who works right here in Nairobi, and she's selling shoes while supporting herself and her 4 children. For years, she struggled to save enough to buy a smartphone. We all know that how a smartphone enables activity today. And that's changed when she discovered NCOPA, fintech, African fintech companies that operate across Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda, and South Africa. I'm sure some of you have come across NCOPA. And through micro payments, Regina was able to pay small deposits and buy a smartphone over time. And that smartphone really transformed her life. She was able to sell more shoes. She was able to reach customers through social media. But she was also able to accept mobile payment. And now she can even have access to credit through different credit scoring mechanisms. So IFC invested 50 million in MPOCAT so that those examples can be scaled and more people can have access to technology. So this just to say how access enables productive activities and really can spur economic growth. But we all know the challenge, and it's been told and said several times this morning. Nearly 80% Kenyans living with disability in rural areas don't have access to technology, connectivity, or the financial tools. So Regina's story is actually an exception. The question is, how do we make sure that there are more Regina success? When business design products, platform, and service with access in mind, whether in education or employment or even in entrepreneurship, they don't just unlock opportunity for people with disability. They generate economic growth for all. And I think we've seen this. We've seen this morning the example of the different entrepreneurs that are pitching for different business opportunity. There is really a business opportunity and the business case to be made. 85% of people with disabilities in emerging markets lack access to assistive tech that they need to go to school, to go to work, to access even an ATM or internet. Without essentials like smartphone, hearing aid, cane, eyeglasses, opportunity for education and employment remain out of reach. And we've heard it from Pascal, from Etiscale, what has been done in this area. So IFC, in partnership with Etiscale, actually, created Mosaic. We launched Mosaic last year at the Global Disability Summit, earlier this year. And what Mosaic stands for, manufacturing of assistive technology opportunities for skills development, advancement, and innovative careers. So in partnership with ATScale, we mobilize the private sector for financing for disability and inclusive projects, and aims to make massive assisted technology market investment ready. Through Mosaic, we're working with, and we are continuing to really seeking for partners. So if you are interested, please join us. So, as I mentioned, assistive technology plays a critical role in enabling access to education and employment. The AI-enabled AT market is expected to be a key driver in the projected $60 billion global AT market by 2030. So, a big and massive economic opportunity. What are we doing in education? Through strategic investment, IFC supports education providers and edtech companies that are using technology to improve efficiency and deliver better learning outcomes. One key initiative, for example, is the Digital for Tertiary Education program that helps universities to identify and implement digital solutions across admission, instruction, and administration. There, we're working with 20 universities in their digital transformation journey, reaching over 800,000 students globally with enhanced tech-enabled, accessible learning environments. But we all know that while education is important and is part of the story, employment remains the biggest challenge. While job creation for young people is the critical issue for the African continent, we all know that too often people with disability have even less opportunities and chances to be employed. So to that, I want to really applaud the MasterCard Foundation for their bold commitment and ambition to create 500,000 jobs for young people living with disability. Because it will take such determination and intentionality to really unlock this potential. Last year in Mexico, we launched a program that brings together 12 leading companies to make commitments to hire people with disability and create inclusive workplace. One of those companies, called FEMSA, it's a Mexican multinational beverage and retail company, which employs quite 250,000 people, established 29 jobs training centers for people living with disability. And guess what? As a result of that, their retail arm, called OXXO, employ more than 2,000 people now living with disability across Mexico. We've also partnered with Neopharma, a Mexico pharmaceutical company, the second largest one, where we invest into the company with some commitment that they had to make. And those commitments included in hiring people living with disability and increasing access to affordable medicine for conditions like schizophrenia, epilepsy, and diabetes. So, building on those success in Mexico, we launched recently another initiative called 1,000 Star Initiative, which brings together 15 private sector companies in countries like Jordan, Pakistan, to create vocational training jobs opportunity, especially for women with disability, and to prepare their business for future investments. So I'm sharing all those examples to show that with intentionality and commitment, it is possible. I'm also sharing those examples to show that there is much more to need to be done. You've noticed that most of the examples that I've shared today are not on the African continent. But at the same time, when you think about the stakeholders that are here in this room, we can make it happen. We can make it happen together. And it takes such conference, such gathering, to be able to have those conversations and design those very important partnerships. To end this, I would like to quote one of my co-panelists. A few weeks ago, I was at the Africa CEO Forum, one of the largest gatherings of the private sector on the African continent. And one of my co-panelists around this this thematic of inclusion said, let's stop talking, let's act. So I want to really ask, let's act. Progress has been so slow in this space. And if we act together, I'm sure that we can design the change that we're all dreaming to see happening on the continent. Thank you.